Good morning and welcome to the show this morning. Welcome to For the Health of It. I am Dr. Scott Phillips, your host, local chiropractor, owner of Lifestyle Chiropractic and Wellness Center in the Clock Tower building, and we are excited to be with you this morning. Great show, good things to talk about. A lot of chatter on Facebook with this one, people commenting from local, and then also a lot of people from all over the country that I know that were excited about the school gardens that we'll be talking about today, and some people saying that they do it where they're at. So this should be a really exciting show. Hopefully everyone that was listening is listening now, or that was commenting is listening now, because it should be really quite fun. Let's go over a few events that are coming up. One that I definitely want to talk about for sure is this weekend on the 25th is the Run for Your Life 5K, benefiting alopecia, again with Colleen Anderson. She was in here a couple of weeks ago talking about this event. And it's over in Midway. They're at the Midway Town Hall, I think, is where the race is going to start. Starts about 5:30. And great event, great fundraiser for kids with alopecia going to a camp out in the East Coast. So go out and support that. They've got a big party afterwards, a big Halloween party. And then she also said if you don't want to run the 5K, if you're just nervous about it, then you can come to the Halloween party and pay $5 a person to get in, have a good time. There's going to be a chili cook-off and all kinds of good things. So that's this Saturday, the 25th. And then the morning of the 25th is when they're running that Halloween half down the Provo Canyon. So if you want to go see some crazy people running a half marathon in costume, then that's a good place to go do that on Saturday. Also coming up, obviously, here in town, we're really excited for the cowboy poetry coming here. This is the Western Music and Cowboy Poetry Gathering, and it starts on the 29th through the 2nd. And so the place to go for tickets for that is hvcpg.com, which stands for Heber Valley Cowboy Poetry Gathering.com. I'm going to mess that up every time. hvcpg.com. And lots of fun things that are free, things that cost money, but always a great event for Heber and Midway here, bringing people from all over. Really, really good national event. So mark your calendars again, October 29th through the November 2nd, and get ready for that. And the other event, I've got a fun guest on today. She's probably the most nervous guest I've ever had. Tess Thacker's here to talk about something that Pizza Hut's doing, fundraising for World Hunger, which is, I think, a really cool thing. Now, Tess, you are a senior in high school.
Yes.
And so you got out of some school this morning.
Yes, I did.
So that's at least a bonus, right?
It is.
You're a little nervous to be on the radio, but at least you're not in school.
That's true, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what Pizza Hut's doing, what you guys are raising money for.
Well, it's called the World Food Program. It runs through Pizza Hut every year, and we just help raise money, and all the donations go completely to ending world hunger. It's a nonprofit organization. Actually, the ambassador of the whole thing is Christina Aguilera.
Really?
Yeah.
How come we couldn't get her this morning?
Right? I know. She didn't answer my phone calls.
Darn it. Yeah, she's been dodging mine for a while, too.
Yeah.
So Pizza here locally is doing that, and tell me how you're raising money. Is it just through businesses? Is it people that come in can donate? How are they doing it?
So in the store, we asked you for every order, would you like to donate to World Hunger? And the people that donate, like, when they're ordering food, we enter them into our raffle, which we've been doing every few weeks. It's just free couple pizzas, drinks, and stuff like that. And then businesses, if a business donates, they can have free pizza donations to any event they might have. And there's free advertisement in the store, like on our boxes or anywhere in the store. So.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. And I actually, from a business standpoint, I decided I wanted to do a little fundraising or help out with the cause. I think it's a good thing, and the getting free pizza for events was just a nice little bonus for sure. Yeah. So people that go in, they order and say, "Hey, would you like to donate?" And does it matter an amount, or do you just want them to donate some?
$1, $3, $5, $10, and $1 is one raffle, $3 3 raffles.
Okay, so each dollar you get a different
amount
of tickets in the raffle.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you got some events, some free pizza to give away that way, and just go in and donate a little bit of money, and then 100% of what you're doing goes to this organization.
Yep. I think the actual statistic of it is 85% goes to it, which is good because most fundraisers only 20% goes to it.
Right, because there's all the maintenance and operation costs and all that.
85 goes to the actual hunger relief, and then it's like 7% is for administration, and the rest is for operations. So
you can fight. So this is the thing: is you can fight hunger while fighting your own hunger.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Well, Tess, thank you for coming in, and again, sorry you had to miss some school. I know it just breaks your heart.
I know, it totally just does. I'm so sad.
And unless you have anything else just grinding that you need to say about this fundraiser, I just encourage anybody that's out there getting pizza to drop some money there, get some raffle tickets. And
it ends on the 26th. So
okay, so we're coming to the wire here.
Yeah, we're pretty close to the end, so
all right,
getting close.
Any good specials at Pizza Hut that we need to know about so that they can be excited to use those and then go donate, or do you know?
We have our bacon and cheese stuffed crust. It's delicious. $11.99.
Not for breakfast, probably. Well, maybe. I don't know if it's cold. Some people like cold pizza for breakfast. That is true. Bacon and cheese stuffed crust. What else are they going to put in there, do you think?
I don't know.
Crust?
I don't know. They've been coming up with some weird stuff.
Weird stuff.
We have a lot of new toppings coming soon and a lot of new things changing, but I can't really say.
All right. Hey, I like it, though. You're kind of getting people excited. That's a way to draw them in.
Pretty exciting changes. All right.
Tess, you did a nice job. You're a senior in high school, so good job coming on and hanging out with me for a little bit. And everybody get out there and donate to this good cause, and let's fight some world hunger, because not everyone has it as nice as we do to have Pizza Hut right in town and go get food when you're hungry.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about my article that I found today. This one's a little bit even strange. And in fact, I'm going to start reading it, but as I'm doing that, I want my other guests to come in because I definitely want to get some take from, if nothing else, I want to hear what Melissa Milam has to say about this. She's one of my featured guest this morning. She's also brought her friend Tara Stafford. They are members of the Wasatch County Food Revolution. Is it Wasatch County or Heber Valley? Okay, sorry. I always get that wrong. Heber Valley's in Wasatch. That's true. Heber Valley is in Wasatch County. So we've got members of the Wasatch Heber Valley Food Revolution here, and we are talking about school gardens and all the fun things that you guys are doing with that. But I want to talk about this article because it just raised my interest. Because the title of the article, so here it is: Obese Dummies, Key to Preventing Road Deaths, ? Right? So let's go into this here. I'm going to turn your mics up here so you can just, I want to get like gasps and shocks and things like that. Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, how do you not read that article, right? You get that headline.
Brilliant.
So here's the interesting thing. Apparently, fatal accidents on the roadways are at a historic low. Apparently, we are not dying on the road as much as we had been before, which is great. But obviously, the manufacturers have to, prove their safety and all that kind of stuff. So they've been using these crash test dummies so that they can get all this information. In fact, they say you have over 130 channels of information in these little dummies, right? So they run these crashes, and they've got just all this information that comes through. But what they found is obese people are 78% more likely to die in a crash. 78%.
Okay, I would have thought the padding made it safer.
It's like your own airbag. Right. No, apparently not. 78% more likely. And they say that the fat in our middle range, like the middle fat, is kind of putting you out of typical seating. So you put a regular crash test dummy in the seat, and you get all the information. But because we get padded in different areas, then all of a sudden it changes the mechanics.
And maybe the seatbelt hits you differently.
Yeah, exactly. So accommodate the increasing number of overweight drivers. Humanetics, which is the one of these crash test dummy farm or manufacturers, are developing an obese dummy. One prototype has already been produced that weighs 273 pounds with a body mass index of 35. And the analytics also reveal that risk of a serious injury increases by 20% in 50-year-old drivers, by 40% at 80, and steadily higher after. So not only the fat people are dying more, but so as you get older. So the idea of these new dummies that they start to measure new types of load, such as shoulder loads, the interaction with the strengths better, more measurement capabilities so they can do a better job of predicting injury. Just crazy, though. I mean,
it is crazy. But I also know that your body has a much harder time healing.
And that's kind of what I thought too. Is if the body's already under so much stress from the toxicity of it anyway, then how are you supposed to heal after that too? So.
And will they start doing car seats next because
kids are getting
childhood
bigger.
obesity?
True. Mm-hmm.
Well, so here's to say the new model would require a significant initial outlay. The value increase that they choose relative to the dummies that can cost $500,000 in addition to writing off expensive vehicles. So this is the interesting thing too, is that they're very much more expensive to produce. And so if people think that obesity isn't costing us more, one of the statistics that I saw that was very almost alarming was that the single highest budgetary increase in hospitals across the country was in equipment that can accommodate bigger people. And it's not like, oh, I need twice the size of a wheelchair, so it's going to cost me twice the money. It actually costs like 4 to 5 times the amount. The bed's the same thing, right, to get them able to raise and lower and to wheel around. I mean, it's not like, oh, I pay a little bit more for a bigger bed. It's a significant increase. And so while I'm happy that we're obviously making these accommodations, because obviously if people are dying when they're obese because we don't have the technology to make sure that they're safe, I'm still of the mind that I think we should bring that down too.
We're hacking at branches still. We need to get to the
It's true, and the root of the problem is we're increasing in obesity, and it's almost like people just think it's an inevitability.
Yeah.
Which is a sad thing. Anyway, one other event I just wanted to talk about that I forgot that I'm going to say now is not really a planned event yet. It's something that I kind of want to get going. I got the documentary, Fed Up, in the mail. I'm really excited about it. And I want people to watch it, and I want to gather and watch it. And so I'm hoping people that are out there, yes.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
I want to come.
I'm hoping people that are out there are interested in this type of screening. I just always, anytime I try to put something together for community, either I'm bad at advertising or whatever, I can never really get that many people. So I'm hoping that maybe I can get some feedback from anyone that's listening and say, hey, time-wise, day-wise, right, should it be a Saturday morning instead of cartoons, let's watch Fed Up, or should it be like a Thursday evening after we put the kids to bed, let's come and watch it? So anyway, there are plenty of venues, there's all that stuff we can figure out, but anyone that's listening, if you want to tell me when a good day and time is, get on the Facebook page, make a comment when you see me post this show, you can do that also. And I hesitate to say this because we've had so much weirdness about it, but if you want to call in and tell me, yes, we want to watch this movie and here's a good time, you can feel free to do so. 657-1340. But like I say, we've always had some weird call-ins. Not weird people. You guys are great. It's just that the reasons that people calling in have nothing to do with our show so far. So,
Scott, is the movie for children too, or is it more of an adult?
So it's rated PG.
Feature? Okay. I just wonder if involving the children might be a good thing.
I think for sure. In fact, it's actually interesting to see my older one, especially. The younger ones don't quite get as entertained,
so
I
maybe
guess,
we
from
could put
it.
an age to it.
But yeah, definitely. I think if you wanted like an 8 or older type of thing could come in, I think they can definitely see some of this. I mean, obviously, they need to start to realize why it is that they shouldn't be asking mom for all these sugary drinks and all these things with added sugar in it.
I think hearing it from someone other than their parents is very valuable too.
I completely agree, Tara, for
keep
sure.
Us in mind. We would love to help you promote that.
Yes, and Food Revolution, you guys are the perfect group to like I say, you have probably more friends than I do, so you can probably get more
We have a lot of friends.
We do. We're very popular.
Super popular, I can tell. And then, so I guess to start our conversation, I think that's a pretty good segue because obviously when we talk about school gardens, we're talking about these school-age kids. We're talking about, in my opinion, the highest at-risk group of people as far as this undernutrition, because they didn't start off good. You know, some of us started off good and we've digressed from there. It almost seems like, especially if you study epigenetics and things like that, that these kids, even in the womb, were getting attacked, right? And so they're getting bombarded. The movie is definitely talking about how much in the grocery store is just sweetened and sugared that we don't even know. I'll tell you that my nutrition class was at Smith's yesterday, And it's always a kind of tug of war almost to bring people to the grocery store to show them what they shouldn't eat, because I feel I don't want to be negative towards the grocery store. It's not their fault.
No, that's true.
And so I don't want people, and especially like if I'm looking there pointing out the bad ingredients in some food and someone else comes over and like picks it up and puts it in their cart, I don't want them to feel bad.
Awkward.
It is a little awkward. But I'll tell you that it's the things that I like to point out is if you look at the front of the label, that's the whole place where the manufacturer of the food gets to, say all the good things that they have in it. And I almost say to make it so you don't turn it over and look at the other stuff that's in it. And we got one of these drinks, the one of these little that you'd probably pack in a kid's lunch or something like that. Neon colored, right? I can't remember what the color was. It had a berry on it, though, on the label.
Glow in the dark.
Right? Yeah, glow in the dark. Radioactive. And I love because on the front of it said, there were two things. First, it said only 50 calories, which, right, Mom would say, oh, well, 50 calories isn't very much. And then the other thing, it said 100% of your daily recommended vitamin C. And say, oh, awesome, even that too, right? So you look at it and say, hey, this isn't bad.
It's
put it in your
healthy.
cart and you walk around. You go buy it and kids eating it for lunch. You turn it over, and of course, first ingredient, water. Second ingredient, high fructose corn syrup, right? And then third and fourth ingredient is ascorbic acid. And because they didn't get the vitamin C from a natural food source that you thought hopefully is in the drink, they just took a needle and squirted in some vitamin C.
Yellow number 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Blue 2000.
Yeah, and so anyway, so this is what we're talking about, right? This is a lot of where my passion lies in getting this education out. And so here we are, and we're going to talk about these school gardens. And again, I have to tell you, I don't know if you were looking at any of these comments when I posted on Facebook, but probably the most comments I've generated just from a show promo. People talking about gardens that they do in Texas. People talking about how it would be a great idea out in, Nevada or wherever else I've gotten comments from. But I guess to start the conversation, I want to know what we've done already, because I know Midway's had one. You had some beautiful pictures that you brought in. I wish that we had some sort of video, and people could.
Those pictures are on our Facebook page,
Oh,
too.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So Heber Valley Food Revolution. Go to the Facebook page, look at the pictures.
Yeah, definitely.
They're fantastic.
Tara's our local Alice Waters. She she started this garden on her own without our help, and we came in and started supporting her.
Yeah.
And saw what was going on. I mean, the kids were so involved in so many different ways. In fact, you should just tell them how it starts.
So
out.
Tara,
Sure,
exactly.
sure.
Let's get the birth of
Yes.
this thing.
Well, and I just, like you were saying, I feel like this is a generation of, and I'm not, this is not all of the children, but a lot of these children that are in the public schools started with chocolate milk in their baby bottles.
Sure.
And
or Sprite.
and I look at this valley, and the roots of this valley are in agriculture and farming, and I thought, we've come so far away from that, and I feel like some of it is the pull from electronics and technology, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but it does tend to distract us from things like gardening. And it's such a simple idea to me, and I am no Alice Waters. I am no master gardener.
Modest.
In fact, I'm learning with the children. This is I tell them every year, this is a science experiment.
Right.
We're going to plant this, and we're going to give it some organic compost, and we learn about what that is, and we're going to see what happens.
Right.
And for example, this year we had a huge aphid infestation.
Yay for aphids.
Of all the kale
Yeah.
and the broccoli, because we don't treat it with anything. We just want to see how it grows. And I just turned that into a science lesson. We took magnifying glasses out, and we learned about the aphids and what their natural predators are, which are ladybugs. Who doesn't love a ladybug?
Love ladybugs.
So I encourage the children to, very ladybugs and bring them to our school garden, and allow them to do their job. And so it's just always an evolving lesson. It's very organic, no pun intended.
You can intend that.
Yeah.
That's
So
okay.
it's just very, it's wonderful. And, to see them have this experiential learning is what it is, because they are in the classroom a lot.
Right.
And they need to be. This is where they're, core curriculum comes from, and this is where they're getting their basics. But to get them out of the classroom into the sunshine, and get their hands dirty, and they just love it. And I've had children who have never planted anything, planting things in the garden, and who have never held an earthworm, and they were nervous.
That's not my kids.
And I had to talk them into holding an earthworm, and it's amazing to see that experience take place. It's been great.
So you've done it at a couple of schools already here in the Valley. Tell me about those.
So we've done it at Midway, and that's kind of been my little baby, and we've done it for 3 years now. And I'm on the board of Food Revolution, but Food Revolution, like Melissa was saying, came in and just started supporting the garden financially, and that was really helpful because we're able to we start seeds in the classroom, but those don't always work. So we plant the ones that work, and then we also get some starts from local nurseries, and some of it being donations and some of it being funded by the Food Revolution. And so the garden is always beautiful. And so I've done this at Midway with the second grade class every year. That way everybody who comes through Midway as a second grader gets to experience the garden. And then when they come back in the fall as third graders, we have a garden tasting party. And that's when everything's ready, and we just stand there and they pull it all out, and it's just exciting.
So much fun.
And it's fun, and they love it. And so and then we just recently had a meeting with Heber Valley Elementary and got the go-ahead to do a garden for them. So our goal is to get a garden in every elementary school in this valley.
So where do you find the land? Are you making boxes? Do they just have land somewhere that you can use?
So the school has to tell us, where they want it and what land they're willing to give us, and then we're building raised beds. And at Midway, we just have 2 small raised beds, and we're hoping to get a greenhouse soon. Because that extends the growing season, like you were saying. These gardens work in Texas, but can they work here? And so we're definitely up against, the elements.
Like you say, summertime when they're off is kind of the hardest time, where you got to be doing the weeding and stuff like that.
Well, we have, I've had families do a sign up, and so I put out an email at the end of the school year and say, your second grader experienced planting the garden. Would you like to sign up for a few weeks and help to come and weed and water? And we have families that do sign up and get to come and help with that. So
now tell me some of the things that you learned while you're doing this with the one elementary school that you're hoping now to, just maybe some of the...
Sure. The first year we did manure, and as much as I wanted them to embrace that and be okay with that, there were about half of the children who did not care for that. And I understand that. It's a strong smell. And so the past 2 years, we had organic compost donated from Eco Scraps, and that's all food matter. And so it smells a lot better.
A lot better than the manure. All right.
And actually, we had a better growing season using that.
Now, what's the real, if you're like, okay, well, at least we're going to grow this, and then we'll do some branching out and try to get some.
So the staples are kale, rainbow Swiss chard, zucchini, tomatoes, carrots, sunflowers.
Make some good sunflowers.
And everything past that is whatever people want to donate. When we just kind of try it. We've had great success with some herbs this year. Mint obviously always does well.
Oh, mint is
She did some crazy cool things with the kids at the last garden party. So when we set it up, she encouraged them to go find a little tomato and a basil, and you called it pizza, right? Pizza. And then a cucumber and a piece of dill. For a pickle?
Garden pickle.
And then she did mint and stevia. This was brilliant for garden gum. And it was so funny to watch these guys so excited about it.
Just chewing on that leaf.
Well, it was awesome for them. And what we found and what we know about school gardens is if they plant it themselves, they're more eager to taste it. They're more willing and eager to taste it. And so I've just had children who have, I don't care for tomatoes. And I said, but have you ever tasted a tomato that you grew yourself?
You grew,
and then if they're open to it, they're always surprised because as you know, it tastes so much better coming right out.
So much better, especially tomatoes. Yes. Great. So and that's, we talked about that even on air too. I mean, the more involved that the kids get with the fruits and vegetables, the more they're willing to eat it. And so even if you're not gardening, you say, well, bring them over to the grocery store and have them help us pick out what we're going to eat and experiment with it and stuff like that.
Yes.
What's been like one of your most fun things to grow that you thought, man, I don't think this will grow, but maybe it will? Is there anything?
Well, this year we ordered seeds for lemon cucumbers, and they're these crazy looking cucumbers, and they look like a lemon. They're round and they're yellow, and they have like prickles all over them, and so you actually have to peel them to eat them, and they are so tasty
They were delicious
and wonderful. So that was a fun, and we try to do something like that every year. The year prior to that, we did purple carrots.
Yeah, okay.
That was really fun.
I bet they like
and
that.
are way healthier than orange
I
carrots.
think we talked purple carrots on here before.
From my favorite book.
So we always try to have like a wow factor in the garden.
Right.
Fun.
Say, look, this is something
this is the
you're not
thing
really going to get at the grocery store.
They also get to grow zucchini, so they get to measure it. And some of the pictures we got of the kids measuring zucchini, like holding it up like it was Lion King, like, oh.
Yeah, we have a zucchini challenge, so we leave one zucchini in the garden. And every year, the second graders that are kind of graduating from the garden program challenge the new second grade class to grow a zucchini that was larger. So we leave one in, and nobody touches it. And nobody
pass the
picks
zucchini
it,
down.
And then we say, okay, this year it was this big,
Yeah.
So.
See if you can beat it.
Yep.
Yeah, that is cool. Tell me what your just vision is. I mean, you want every single school. We talking just the elementary schools? Should we get them everywhere else? What do you want? If you had
the EATS program in Park City is actually starting with their junior high school.
Yeah,
and they're doing great. They love it. I feel like we're going to focus on the younger kids right now.
Right.
Just because it's something we've tried. We know how it works. Mm-hmm. Tara's a great young childhood educator, and she's got really good lesson plans.
Right.
And, so we know that we can do this and do it well. And as this progresses, then why wouldn't we move to older grades?
Yeah. It would be wonderful because the high school has a greenhouse, and so we've thought, how cool would it be for them to be starting the seeds in there? Of course, we would want every elementary to have a greenhouse too, but in the meantime, we've thought that it would be great if they could start the seeds, and then instead of going out and purchasing starts from the nurseries, the high school could be providing starts or seeds, for the garden.
Is that the FFA program that has the greenhouse?
It is.
So.
How do they use it right now? Do you know?
I think they grow plants, flowers.
Okay.
They're gorgeous, and that's a cool thing. But we would love to get everyone involved. And I know this, I've actually heard from some parents, please don't put a garden in our school. I'm like, really? Why?
See, and that's funny
we don't
because
want to help take care of that. We've got other things going on. I understand that. I understand people.
Name who the parents are. No, I'm just kidding. I want names.
That is confidential. But I just wanted to point out that there are a lot of reasons that this is a great idea. And one of them, I'm just going to read a few statistics from studies that were done. And I can cite these for online too if you want to read them. But for academic achievement, this one says a study of 3rd and 4th graders involved in school gardens and nutrition program found that the school garden supports students' inquiry, connection to the natural world, and engages the students in process of formulating meaningful questions. I mean, obviously, the aphids and the broccoli, that was a very meaningful question. I love how she turned it into a science experiment.
Instead of just a lesson on how to cuss.
Well, I was frustrated at first, but then I had to embrace it and go,
that's what I think if they were at the farm at home, they'd find out.
Right, and then it also shows that it actually creates a really positive attitude.
Sure.
Just being outside in the sunshine, I think, is incredible.
You love that.
I do love
and
that.
And it's true, though.
And then it also, for physical health, obviously, said children who are familiar with growing their own food tend to eat more fruits and vegetables. So it's a no-brainer.
Right.
If they're familiar with it, chances are they're going to choose the carrot sticks in the lunchroom and not throw them under the table or in the trash.
Oh my gosh. I was at lunch yesterday too, and one of my son's friends sat next to him, and we ate, and I kept looking over his tray, He's messing with my son. I'm like, you got to eat, And when they pulled the little thing off, he took his tray up and went and threw it away. I'm like, you didn't eat a thing? He didn't eat one thing. No. And he goes, no, I ate my cookie.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it goes.
But I will say that a couple of the other kids, though, that were sitting there were like, oh, he didn't eat anything. They were like, they couldn't believe it. So I was like, okay, well, at least some people realize that that's not a good idea.
Poor guy probably had a hard time concentrating the rest of the day.
I'm like, what is he doing?
Well, and the other thing is that on the social and emotional level, the school garden serves as a safe place for students. Studies show that large numbers of students report that they feel calm, safe, happy, and relaxed after having been in the garden.
Sure.
Learning about science and whatever else, mathematics.
Right.
You can put so many different academic lessons into a school garden.
Easily.
So not just food, not just horticulture and growing.
Right.
It extends into so many different realms.
Even just their learning, and probably the energy that they have after when they go back to the classroom. I mean, it's a good breakup, and if they're still already making some of those connections, I mean, I think, right, any educator would tell you that their job isn't to teach, just facts. We don't teach them just facts. That's only so much that you can do there. But if you can, show them how to have that inquisitive mind. I mean, that's
try to keep that spark and that love of learning.
Then they're going out and getting things on their own. Now, you talked about Tara being an educator, and I gave you a chance to shamelessly promote what you do on the side of school gardens, and you skipped it. But I'm sure, that your Montessori school has a garden.
It does not. We are renting the building that we're in currently.
But you do probably some sort of lessons.
We are looking, absolutely.
Okay,
yes,
good.
We plant seeds with the children.
Right,
and
I
it's
figured.
all the, the needs of a plant are part of our curriculum.
Right,
and so we're definitely learning about that. And we are looking for land, and our next step is to build a school, and that a school garden will be a part of that.
It better be. Food Revolution wise, let's talk about what you guys did. You came in, you said, hey, let's support this program. I know you've done at least one fundraiser. You've probably done a few more. I don't know, maybe not.
We have. So I met Tara when she had already, done the growing and the gardening and was so interested in what she was doing and wanted to support her.
Right.
But what I've come to learn is what she's doing is actually the key to what we want to do.
Right.
So we've tried so many different approaches in food education and bringing kids to the realization that vegetables are yummy. But I feel like what she's doing has the most benefit.
Right.
It's better than us going in and trying to help the school lunch program, or I think it's even better than going in and doing demonstrations in the classroom, which I love doing. Bringing in our kale, making green smoothies is fun too, but you can't replace the planting the seed, watching it grow, tasting it. There just is a really deep connection there. So we're focusing, our main focus right now is gardens, and I'm really pleased with that.
Cool. So tell me what kind of funds you need, how people can help, all that kind of stuff.
Well, installing a garden's a little expensive, especially when we do it in a way that would promote a longer growing season in Heber. We were really lucky to get the support of Katarina over at Earth and Eden. It's a cute little nursery in Midway. It's my favorite little place. But she has a lot of knowledge in how to extend the growing season, and one of them is low tunnels. So you build up a box at a height that would be easy for a kid to get in and work with, and then you put PVC pipes over and then UV fabric, and you can plant 2 months earlier and harvest 2 months later. Yeah, so the cost is actually not too bad, but if we really want to put in a nice sized garden, we need a couple of grand to get the garden installed and planted.
Per school, probably, right?
Probably per school, depending on, although Heber Valley came in and said we want bigger and better, so we're going to get them bigger and better.
My kids go to Heber Valley, so I try to promote that in them.
Good. Yeah,
and I'm from Texas, right? So that's a bad combination.
True. Bigger and better in Texas, right?
That's right.
But Principal Burnham has been a pleasure to work with. She's super excited about this. So we do need funds, and we will need funds continually to maintain the gardens that we're planting.
Right.
So we just did Sweat It Out Saturday, which was fun. We got
so
a bunch
fun.
It was a blast. So we'll plan on doing that next year, where we get a bunch of trainers together and we offer sample classes for, it can be your breakthrough workout of the season.
Right.
Come and work out for 2 hours. And we had Fireman Rob there. I don't know if you saw our pictures online, but we got to carry the hose and drag the dummy.
Yeah, that looked awesome.
Yeah, so we raised a good chunk of money there, and then we have one more fundraiser for the season on Friday. Yeah. And I happen to have a couple of tickets left. So I'm privately telling you about this. People who are listening.
That's right.
Publicly.
Privately
and publicly.
So if you're interested in attending, I'll tell you what it is. So Friday is Food Day. Have you heard of that?
No,
National
tell me
Food
about.
Day?
Yes, I have, but I didn't do any real good looking into it.
This is the premise. And Food Day actually falls under the Jamie Oliver Foundation. So as ambassadors for Jamie Oliver, we agreed to celebrate Food Day, and this is how we're doing it. So Food Day it inspires Americans to change their diets and our food policies. So every October 24th, thousands of events all around the country bring Americans together to celebrate and enjoy real food and to push for improved food policies.
Sure.
So that's the premise of Food Day. And what we're challenging everyone to do is attend a Food Day event if there is one. We're having one. Or make something amazing that day. Try to find as many local ingredients as you can and make an amazing meal, take a picture, post it on our Facebook page.
That's a great idea.
So
Food Day. Friday.
Yeah, it's an actual holiday.
That's tomorrow.
I know. Who doesn't want to celebrate food, right?
I just figured I wouldn't fast that day, and that's how I'd celebrate it.
Eat something incredibly
But
yummy.
yeah, so now I'm more excited to find something really good.
Right. So why do Food Day? And this is what the website says: is the typical American diet is contributing to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and other health problems, and those problems cost Americans more than $150 billion per year. Plus, a meat-heavy diet takes a terrible toll on the environment.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to say don't eat meat, but I am one to say, where is it coming from? Do you know your farmer? You know, what is that meat fed? So that was one of the things to think about, is maybe just tomorrow when you make your food, know where your food's coming from.
Right.
So did you know who provided the food for the grocery store meat that you got in a cute little cellophane package? So just to think, just take the day to think about it. But for Food Day, we invited Chef Jason Kiefer, who is the head chef over at Intermountain Healthcare in Park City. And if you've never eaten at the hospital, I know I've said this before, go do it. And you're like, ew, hospital food? It's incredible.
It's incredible.
He sources locally organic food and does a really good job. So it's one of my favorite places. But he's going to come in and do a private cooking class / dinner here in Midway, or up in Midway, at 6:30 tomorrow night. It is $75 a ticket, and that money goes directly to planting the next school garden.
To the gardens.
Yep, and I have 2 tickets left, so if you're interested, you can message me on Facebook, or you can just email me through the website, thefoodrevolution.org.
Do you have the menu, Melissa?
Oh, I need to tell you about the menu.
Let's talk the menu. It's Food Day, right? We got.
I'm hungry.
Let's get the palates.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up that menu.
Here.
But while I'm grabbing that menu, Tara, do you want to?
So,
a little bit about
and let's talk about just Jason Kiefer, because I want him on the show too when he can, and because he's awesome and I know him really well, and he is one that. I mean, he was a celebrity chef to the stars, right? This guy knows his
Google
food.
Chef. Yeah.
And I'll tell you that if you haven't been to the Park City Hospital for lunch and tried what he makes, I mean, you're missing out. You're really missing out, because honestly, price-wise, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
And
he's amazing. And to have him coming, it's in a home. One of our board members is hosting the dinner in her home, and so it's going to be very small, private, quaint, lovely evening. And to have him there, the format is kind of a cooking class.
Yeah.
So he's going to be involving the participants in his cooking, and we're going to be learning it's going to be really fun. So we're excited.
And I love that the proceeds are going to go to the food, to the gardens. I think
every
that's
cent,
the perfect way to celebrate Food Day and say, hey, here's, and hopefully if you get enough people there, that's going to be and I almost think if we show Fed Up, maybe charge $1 a ticket, and we can throw that your way also. Something
we would
like that.
appreciate that.
Why not?
We'll
I mean,
take all we can get.
who wouldn't pay $1 to?
But let me tell you about this menu.
Let's hear the menu,
So
because this is exciting.
He wants to focus on fall root vegetables, which are some of my favorites.
Sure.
So for our first course, it's carrot, tomato, and ginger bisque with baby kale. And I'm sorry, if I had heard that like 5 years ago, I'm like, ugh, oh my gosh.
Right, but
that's
if
disgusting.
you know.
But if you know, Chef Kiefer's magic. He can make the most ordinary ingredients taste incredible. Yeah. So I know that's going to be delicious.
That sounds really good.
And then he's going to do a red and gold roasted beet salad with fresh arugula and pomegranate vinaigrette. I know, right? Fancy.
I'm telling you already, right? This is it.
And as my favorite, goat cheese, shallots, walnuts.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one. And then the third course is rosemary scented lamb with agave glazed parsnips, celery root, and potato mash, roasted asparagus, and red wine and wild mushroom essence. I know. Could you make it sound any more poetic?
Man.
Like drooling.
You can tell, right?
It gets
what
better.
time is it? It's only 9:40. I'm in trouble.
Starving.
Yeah, so dessert, though. This is the one I think I'm most excited about because I love chocolate. But warm sweet potato and Peruvian chocolate cake with lavender-infused yogurt sauce.
Wow.
Right? Why wouldn't you just come for that? I paid
lavender-infused yogurt sauce. That is awesome.
Yeah, so we have 2 tickets, and if anyone's interested in tasting something so incredible and donating to a really good cause, then feel free to email me through the Heber Valley Food Revolution .org webpage.
Awesome. I'm really, like I say, I'm so excited how much the community was really interested in this, and so I want you to know that everyone that at least saw my post that commented on it at least said what an amazing thing this would be. And let's talk about it curriculum-wise, because again, it's not like you can just say, hey, it's garden day, everyone come out and put a seed in the ground and then go back to your regular. Tell me time-wise, how much do you spend on actually the education process? Or is this something that you come in once a week and do a half hour? Or is it, I mean, what's the kind of time frame that you've seen?
Right now, I'm just doing quarterly. I'm going in once per quarter.
Yeah.
I'm spending about 45 minutes with each second grade class.
Right.
And I try to get them individually, just a small
Sure.
group size. And so I just spend the whole day there, and I kind of go from second grade class to second grade class. And we start out actually in the garden. So I'm going to be going in next week, and we're going to be outside in the garden, and they're going to be pulling out all the debris from,
That's right. You gotta pull that stuff
previous
up.
year garden, and they love that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we do some team building. We talk about what the word community means, because
Sure.
we do call it our school community garden.
Right.
And we talk about how, the seed that you plant in your classroom is not necessarily going to be the carrot that you eat.
Right.
It's for everyone. And it's, that's what a community is, and that's what teamwork means. We're growing this for the whole second grade.
Yeah.
And we're all going to get to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Right.
But
And vegetables of your labor.
yes, exactly.
Fruits and vegetables.
And so it's really great. They have fun doing the team building exercises, and I think it just brings them together. And we just talk about what it means to work in a team and how we're going to do that, and what the whole year kind of looks like. And
Right.
then the next quarter when I go back in, there's snow on the garden.
Yeah.
And so we study crystals.
Cool. Yeah, why
And
not?
so we study crystal formation. We grow our own crystals, and this was just kind of me getting creative. Like, and I start by saying, obviously we can't go out and garden today.
Right.
What's on the garden?
Right.
Snow, ice, and so we take it. We just go with it, and we study crystals that day. So that's not totally garden related, but it's so that I can continue to go in quarterly.
Well, and then they're still having their mind on the garden.
Yeah,
and
Yes.
What's going on with it.
Yes. And then the next time I go in, the third quarter, it's still pretty cold in the garden. We can't plant anything, but that's when we're starting the seeds.
Right.
And then we also start a vermicomposting bin, which are worms.
Yay.
And so I bring the worms in, and that's when they get to experience holding
Holding
the
the
worms and
worms.
learning about the worms, and learning about, we talk about all the different good creatures that visit our garden.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why we want to invite spiders, and why we want to invite ladybugs, and why we want to invite our earthworms to our garden, and what
Right.
their role is in the organic garden.
Yeah.
And so we put, I have them put some of their organic matter, their apple cores and things like that, into the compost bin, and then we cover it with newspaper, and we wet it, and we just kind of let that do its thing. And then when it comes time to plant the seeds and the starts in the garden, we also have them putting the earthworms in.
Cool.
And so
That's
the fourth quarter.
That's something that when we're getting ready to plant our garden, my kids go crazy about. They're out
yeah.
digging everywhere trying to find earthworms and bring them to the garden.
Yep.
They don't mind the earthworms, that's for sure.
That's
I
good.
love it. And even if you don't have land, I tried patio gardens this year at my own house.
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
it was so much fun.
Sure.
I actually harvested kale and carrots and beets. And
At your patio garden.
on my patio.
Yeah, why not?
So Tara obviously is just one person. We can't use her brilliant mind at every school we put a garden in. So we do have a plan for that. I've
Yeah,
been
let's hear it.
researching this curriculum called Vegecation for the last few years.
Vegecation.
Vegecation, right.
That was brilliant.
It's perfect for young kids.
Why didn't I think of that?
I know. Let's trademark that.
Tara?
Darn it. Vegecation.
But it's a really well done program, and it's not that expensive to invest into. But that's where part of our fundraising funds would go to some of the schools
Okay.
who need curriculum for the
Right,
teachers.
right.
And this is really well done. It comes with stickers. Hey, I tried a vegetable today. It comes with videos and a song and all sorts of cute stuff. But their concept is that vegetables are the most powerful part of the plate, and they are the most often ignored, obviously.
Sure.
And in order to increase consumption, you ought to market them the same way you would junk food and processed foods to children.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's exactly what they do. They make it super fun, super kid friendly. So the programs are really almost like it's so funny if you go on and watch a commercial. It's almost like a commercial for Fruit Loops.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all fun and games.
Because if they're trying to market it that way.
Right, and they don't ever talk. I mean, they do talk a little bit about the nutrition behind the food, but honestly, kids don't care.
No,
but if you tell them it gives them superpowers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but if you actually, I notice with my own kids, if you talk about how delicious it is and talk about the different nuances and the flavors and let them close their eyes and taste, that you get so much more from them than saying, actually, there's a study that just came out about telling preschoolers, and I thought this was hilarious. Eat your carrots, they're good for you. It actually turns them off.
Makes them not.
So parents,
I want to eat something
don't
that's
tell
not
them
good
it's
for me.
good for them. Tell them it's delicious, make it taste good.
And model it.
Yes.
Model eating it and close your eyes and say,
Yeah, definitely.
No, that really is a great point because honestly, I mean, parents love to tell their kids to eat their vegetables and then they go to their chips or their whatever they're eating. Do. And that whole do as I say, not as I do concept that most of us really love to use with our own kids is not the most effective way of doing it. For sure.
I was one of the parents who didn't like vegetables. Yeah, I know that's pretty sad, but I had to develop the taste over time. And it took some effort because I knew I wanted my kids to eat better, so I had to try and do it myself. And
I think this is the problem is we train our palates for sure to get to the point where they can listen to that type of menu that you just said. Some people could listen to that and be like, oh, that sounds gross.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, really.
Or someone else drooling over it.
Yeah, because palates change over time, and especially if all you've eaten are these chemicals that make the brain light up the same way that cocaine does, which we see in the, if that's what we eat, then that's what we'll crave. And I talk about all the time about being in Europe and getting people to try brownies and that they wouldn't eat it because it was so sweet. And we can get to that point even too where all of a sudden these things that normally we could just eat and be no problem with are like, good grief, like why is that so sweetened?
Right.
And once that palate changes, then all of a sudden you can notice the sugar in a carrot, right? Someone's like, what are you talking about, sugar in a carrot? But really there is sweetness to it.
Oh, it's delicious. I have to tell you a crazy experience we had. We got the opportunity to visit China this summer.
Yeah, you did.
My husband's been traveling there for 15 years, so my kids they wanted to see where Dad was going.
Right.
We noticed that when we go into a restaurant there, that they would purposely sweeten our food.
Because you were American.
We were Americans, and that's sweet. So my husband had to say, could you please, no sweet, no sweet. Yeah. And we had to get our
How
guide.
do you say that in Mandarin?
I don't even remember. The only thing I remember is cholo fu, which is stinky tofu. We got to try lots of fun things. But it was interesting watching my kids, too. I'm so glad I didn't take them 5 years ago before I really started honing in on eating better, because I had my little guy try a fried tarantula. He would never have done that before. But
it sounds awesome.
I know. That's a little extreme. I'm not recommending trying
I
fried
think my
tarantula,
7-year-old, if he was listening right now, he'd be like, oh, I would need a fried tarantula. Where can we get that?
I have to post that picture. It's pretty funny. But I'm afraid if I'd brought my kids there 5 years ago before I really started focusing on food, that they wouldn't have eaten anything. They would have starved.
Yeah.
Because we got served plates and plates of vegetables.
Right.
Really unique things. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and we don't do that here.
No.
French fries.
Yeah, right.
That's a vegetable, right? When you add the ketchup, that's another vegetable.
There you go. Pizza, right? Isn't that the new vegetable?
Pizza is the perfect... It was funny because I was going to ask Tess, the cute little high schooler that was in that works for Pizza Hut. I was like, now, you're not raising money to send all these third world country Pizza Hut, right? I mean, can't we? We're giving them real food, aren't we? But I didn't ask her that because I didn't want her to get nervous. But yeah, I mean, here we are with these kids that they think the vegetables are bad. We say, oh, they're good for you, eat them. Like going to bed early, like all these other things they don't want to do.
Right.
But I love that idea of how can we reposition it? And that's the funny thing is one of these things that I focus on when I take people into the grocery store, especially when talking about child nutrition, is look at what is being marketed to kids. Look for the Toucan Sams, look for the cartoon characters, look for the Dora the Explorer. I mean, right, if you want kids to get I saw these crazy juice box things that had like cartoon heads on them, so you had the Dora the Explorer one and the Hello Kitty one, and they don't even care what's in it, right? They're like, hey, it's Dora, I want to drink Dora, I want to drink from Dora, I know, and so it's like, well, why can't we put Dora on a package of carrots or a package of, why can't that happen and make them want it? Because again, they don't care what's in it. Just like they don't care what's in the bad stuff, they don't care what's in the good stuff. They want to eat what's going to help them feel better.
Right, but I would really like to make them focus more on eating like from the garden. That's
right.
Maybe less from a package.
Right, exactly.
And getting excited about that because it's exciting, and they grew it.
I know. Can't we put Dora's head on a carrot, though?
You know what? There is some marketing starting. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is more of a food politics.
Is Dora cool anymore? I guess I shouldn't even say that. I don't know.
I don't think Dora's cool anymore.
My younger ones don't really watch Dora anymore.
You should know this. You have young kids.
I know.
I don't even know anymore. But there is a shift happening in marketing to children. But the problem is it's still money motivated. So we're not there yet. So, and next week is our Halloween celebration. So
yes,
I'd like to give the parents some advice on this one.
Let's talk about it.
So you know what? This is a hard one because I have one child who would get sick every year, actually would throw up every Halloween.
Yeah,
and
just check it all.
I was of the mindset it was a celebration. It happens once a year. Go for it. The problem is it doesn't happen just once a year.
Oh, no.
And the trick-or-treating happens over and over and over
it's
again.
True.
It'll happen at school. And
it
I know
starts,
that there's church groups who do it.
Yeah, listen, I think it pretty much starts tomorrow. I know of a Halloween party that is tomorrow. Right. I know of one that is Saturday, and then all next week, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, as a teacher, I throw all curriculum out the door starting like today. Yeah, next week it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, they don't. It's all about the candy.
Right. So I just some tips from my own personal life.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask Tara what she does. But just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on and what your kids are ingesting, if we take a typical piece of Halloween candy, there's a few ingredients you need to worry about. Number one is the food coloring. I think this would be a good one to focus on. I made a deal with my kids last year that they could trick or treat, and we did a handful of houses as long as they agreed to throw out the food coloring.
Yeah.
So it actually made them look through each piece of candy, and we decided, what labels of food coloring, yellow, 5, blue, whatever. So that worked pretty well, but that is a neurotoxin. And it actually is banned in several countries, and it has to be labeled in Europe as this is a potential harm to your child's cognitive skills. And it doesn't say that exactly, but so choosing something, making it into an educational thing, and letting your kids, I know it's just fun and games, but make it an educational thing for them as well. Yeah. And then maybe just choosing one celebration and
not every single one that exists.
Right, because you might be sorry the next week. Behavior goes out the door. Do you have
any
suggestions?
Yes, and my son's here today, so,
He is, and I will tell you, he's been just a gem. I can only imagine tell me how old he is. How old are you, buddy?
How old are you, Austin?
I'm 10.
10, okay. So I have a 7-year-old, and he would have already probably broken 67 things by now.
He's a little under the weather today, so we're keeping him home from school.
Thank you.
But I, we love the Halloween fairy. I mean, she pretty much saves our tummies because we we eat a few of our favorite things from trick-or-treating, and then we hang the rest on the back door, and, she comes and she collects the candy, and I'm not sure what she does with it, but she leaves a toy. Yeah. And it's great.
Yeah, I like that.
So we love her. She really.
Can we borrow your fairy this year?
Well, she'll come. You just have to leave the candy.
You just leave the candy up.
I'm all over that.
Yeah, I like that for sure.
Hang it on the back door. Okay.
Something that we do that's very interesting, and I don't know how long again. My oldest is 7, and I remember around that age is when I was like, okay, I've got my pillowcase. We've mapped out all the areas we are going. What we've done is actually kind of thrown our own little Halloween party beforehand with some of the neighbor kids. We have a dance party just to get the heck out and make them tired. And then when it's time to go trick-or-treating, they're like 6 houses and I'm like, okay, we're good. Like really, they tire out so fast, so far. Again, I can't tell you if that would work for a 13-year-old right now, but from this age right now, 7-year-old, it's worked a couple of years for sure. So, but I like the idea of the food coloring. I think for sure if people don't know, the studies are going less into sugar causing hyperactivity and more into the food coloring that causes the hyperactivity, the ADD, all that kind of stuff. Right. Not that the sugar's good for you, but they started to compare those two things.
It's something a kid can definitely hold on to. When I tell my kids, they're marking this to you because they know you will be attracted to the colors. I'm like, does it make you upset that it's something that is really bad for you? Right. And I told them that, so let's take a box of macaroni and cheese, which we used to love.
The golden stuff.
Golden stuff. When you buy a box of macaroni and cheese in the U.S., it's colored with yellow number 5. When you buy it in Europe, it's colored with turmeric. And turmeric is a beautiful anti-inflammatory, natural painkillers. It's a really good ingredient. And I'm like, how does that make you feel? And they're like, well, why? Why?
Yeah, why wouldn't they color it?
Because we allow it.
Yeah.
So it's
it's cheaper.
It is cheaper. It's a lot cheaper.
But you still get that same color, which is crazy.
Right.
We buy red stuff that's colored with beet juice. and not red whatever, I mean, isn't that crazy that they could do it? You can make all those colors even if you wanted to with other things.
Yeah,
but because it's cheap.
Big food business money talks.
Man.
What's cheaper?
Yeah, I like that, though. You talk about it and say, look, they could have made it from this different. Then we train them to be mad at the.
Like, how do you feel about that?
Let's write to our congressman.
Exactly.
So Halloween coming up now. Did you know? Have you heard about the Teal Pumpkin Project? Have you heard with food allergies?
No, I haven't.
So this is something too I wanted to talk about. I did last week a little bit, but this is an interesting thing that's coming out a little bit more. New this year, obviously, people with food allergies, it's growing more, and so people are being told, or at least kind of encouraged, that hey, if you've got a non-food item or something that's not allergenic, like let's say stickers or some of these things that we never wanted to get when we were trick-or-treating, to actually color a pumpkin teal. And put it out, and so then that kind of signifies to these parents that are like, oh, my kid can't eat anything on Halloween. That signifies to them, hey, this is an allergy-friendly place, go and trick-or-treat here type of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that's kind of a newer thing this year. It's caught on quite a bit, like social media-wise. A lot of people have been sharing it and stuff like that. So just for people listening, if that's something that they're planning on doing, or if they have kids that are allergic to stuff themselves, and so they're like, hey, we're going to do something a little different, then the teal pumpkin's the way to do, and that's something to look for.
That's great.
So if you're not doing allergy-friendly foods, don't color your pumpkins teal. It'll be very confusing. I don't know if that's why they picked that color, because not many people did.
That's very Montessori. Everyone's included.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I wanted to mention that the Food Revolution would love to come into classrooms. So I know teachers are probably not listening right now, but if you are a parent and you have a teacher who you think would be open to doing a healthy Halloween party, we would love to come in and sponsor that classroom and do a healthy Halloween party. It's probably too late this year because I know that the parties are probably planned.
But in the near future.
Yeah, looking to next year. Contact us, make sure the teacher is on board.
Right.
And we'd love to come in and do that. So
absolutely. We did Valentine's and Easter last year for healthy holiday parties and had some really fun activities.
Cool. Yeah, because it's hard to know. I mean, these parents are a lot of the ones that are planning the parties, and they've got a lot of things on their plates and a lot of things on their minds, and how much easier is it to just say, hey, let's just throw a bunch of candy.
Yeah, we would love to help with that.
Well, that's a great resource for sure.
Yes, they get the credit.
Right? Be like, no, we've never seen these people before. This was all me. So tell us, what's the easiest way to get a hold of you guys, that kind of thing, to say, hey, we want to donate, we want to have a party, that kind of thing. Is it just through the website? Is that the easiest?
Facebook is a great way to get a hold of us. Just message us there, or the website is hebervalleyfoodrevolution.org.
.org.
And you can contact us through that website as well.
So go there if you're looking to say, hey, shoot, I'm in charge of the Halloween party. I forgot what I'm doing. Go there. They're going to help you out. Or a Christmas party or anything like that. I think that'd be great if you guys could, hopefully there's more need than, or even more people wanting it than you even feel like you can handle, because I think that would be a great thing to do for sure. Can we end with my joke of the day? This is one I've been wanting to tell a couple of days now, or a couple of shows, and I keep forgetting. And so I'm excited about it. Do you mind indulging me? Now, you have to laugh being a part of this, so even if you don't think it's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, good. So, oh, shoot. My wife always tells me I shouldn't talk so much before the joke, because that ends up that people... Anyway, so here we go. So a lady goes into her vet, and she's got her little hamster, Skippy. And Skippy doesn't look like he's doing so well, so she brings him into the vet and puts him on the little exam, table for hamsters, which isn't very big. And
there's a hamster exam table.
I'm sure there is. I don't know.
Already.
So the vet looks at him and kind of just shakes his head a little bit and says, I'm sorry, Mrs. Jones, I think we've lost Skippy. I think he's passed on. And this is her beloved hamster, and so she thinks, no, that can't be true. Maybe he's asleep. Maybe he's just breathing slowly. She says, I really just want to get a second opinion. He says, okay, well, hold on for a second. She kind of pokes his head out and says something to the receptionist, and a minute later, this nice little kitty cat comes in and hops up onto the little hamster exam table, and he's kind of looking around and sniffing around and meowing, and jumps down, kind of looks up at the vet and kind of shakes his head and walks out. And the vet says, even Fluffy here thinks that Skippy's gone, and Fluffy's a pretty good source for that kind of thing. And she says, I don't know if I can just trust that. I really think I need another opinion. He says, okay, well, hold on again. And so he goes out, pokes his head out again, says something to the receptionist. And all of a sudden, here comes Fido, this golden, Labrador retriever, and comes around and same kind of thing, sniffs at the body and just looks up at the vet and shakes his head also and walks out and says, yeah, even Fido there, he's pretty convinced that we've lost Skippy. And she says, I'm going to take him somewhere else. I'm just not sure. I just love this hamster so much. And so she takes him off the table and walks out and says, I'd like to just pay my bill really quick. And so the receptionist says, well, that'll be $150. And she says, what are you talking about? The visit's just $50. And she says, yeah, but that was before the CAT scan and the lab report.
That's good.
So there you go. Love the CAT scan and lab report. Anyway, guys, it's a great day to be healthy. Great day to go out and do something for yourself. Get your own gardens, start pulling the junk out of them, because soon the snow will be on top of them. And we had a good gardening show. One of the beginning shows that we had on here had Rob over from Real Foods, and he was talking about how to garden. We'll hopefully do that again next year also, as we're preparing to get these gardens ready. And hopefully you girls will come back on too when we're talking about Harvest Day and how that goes and everything like that. I think it's fantastic. That's one of the things my son loves to do, is he even has a harvest bowl. It's a bowl just dedicated to go pick things.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's his harvest bowl, and he'll go out and sometimes pick things before he should. We've talked about, hey, we need to talk about if you're going to go harvest yet. But a great thing to support. Thank you for coming and talking about it, making us more aware of it, and just look for ways to help support that, whether it's financially, whether it's volunteering, whatever it is. And let's get these kids learning about garden, and I think they'll be healthier for it.
Thanks for having us, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Hey, of course, it's always my pleasure. And as I say at the end of every show, go out and be healthy. And if you do it for no other reason, then I want you to do it just for the health of it. Thank you for listening.